Hey, what's up everybody? We're up here in the plant lab and just wanted to take some time today and talk about something that I feel like not a lot of people really talk about, and that is fertilizing and irrigating your seedlings, or you can even combine them and with a thing called fertigation, which is essentially just fertilizing while you irrigate. But that's something I just wanted to talk about today. I think that it's something that's really overlooked, not talked about a lot, and really there's just some things that you can do to really minimize your water usage, your fertilizer usage, and damage to plants, and just kind of reduce your risk for disease and things like that. So when you're watering seedlings and nothing's sprouted, or you have very small sprouts like this little guy, or this little cumin seedling over here, it's a lot easier to do overhead irrigation just with a standard watering can. But then when you get nice lush growth like that, it becomes a lot harder to water with a standard watering can, such as this one. This was my first watering can, Old Faithful, had it for a long time, but once you get down to this stage, it's going to be a lot tougher. When you're over here like that, it's easy. So just going to walk through some alternatives to that, including this tray, and some other options we can go with. All right, so like I mentioned, it's really tough to water your seedlings when they get to this height. Obviously it's going to be pretty tough to water overhead and that not like splash in the crevices here. So what I've actually been doing with this tray, and this is Jiffy pellets. So it's a retail pack, so it's the ones I got at like Home Depot or whatever. But basically, it's got channels in there, so there's no problem with bottom watering in this situation, which essentially I will just take a watering can and fill this thing up so that it's got, maybe a ½ inch of water, maybe a little bit less, but just covering the entire tray. So that's definitely one option you can use if you've got something sitting directly in there, such as like the Jiffy pellets, or even these Oasis root cubes, which is essentially a sheet of foam media that the plants are growing in, but it's not sitting in a plastic, it's sitting in a plastic tray, but not on anything else. So where it's going to get trickier is with something like this. So this, this one here is a, you can see it's a very short plug, and this came pre-packed, so this is like a peat mixture. But this is going to be a lot tougher to water. So, you can't just do like a standard overhead irrigation. You can't do bottom watering because the bottom of the tray doesn't even touch it. So that's where I've actually come up with a little solution here. I've got a water bottle that I repurposed, took a thumbtack, punctured it with about 4 holes. So the important thing is to do it from the inside of the cap, so that it flows outward. And basically what I'll do is I'll just spray it in here, in these little channels, and it gets right in there to each of the plants. So it actually ends up working out pretty well. And then the final thing that I've got here is the styrofoam grow plug tray kit from A.M. Leonard. We call it the HydroFloat kit, and essentially this is a styrofoam tray. These are peat moss grow plugs, and then this tray is supposed to float on water. So this seedling here didn't germinate, so basically I just popped that plug out, and that's where I pour in the water. So you can just pour in straight water or mix it with fertilizer, and that's the really great thing about that. Very simple hydroponics. So basically next thing I'm going to do is just walk you through the different watering cans I have, the different fertilizers I'm using, and then I'll also throw in like what time of the year you should use that, as well as application rates on a separate sheet, separate page, so that you can see all of that, get kind of the breakdown, and how you can get your seedlings to go from being like this and this to something like that. Hey, Twiggy. All right, so as I already mentioned, this was my first watering can that I had ever gotten from A.M. Leonard. It's a nice dram watering can. I believe it's about 2/3 of a gallon. So nice thing is it's got this nice rosette on here, and you know, it's nice, but it is a little bit of an aggressive stream of water if you're watering delicate seedlings, and it makes it especially tough when they get bigger like that. But good thing to start off with, especially for, you know, really giving those seeds and seed trays a nice solid drench, and a good way to haul a lot of water to refill your hydrofloat trays as well. And so that's it for the dram 2/3 of a gallon watering can that I got from A.M. Leonard. Really good watering can, highly recommend, but there are some other options to fit some of those other applications. All right, so next up we've got this 1-liter watering can. It's a Hall's Gardening watering can that Kyla got for me from Gardens Alive. So this thing's perfect for watering small 288 cell trays like this. Maybe not that great for some of these bigger cells, but perfect for like delicate seedlings, you know, getting in between some of these bigger plants here, and you know, as always, just good little source of water to fill this thing up, and a really good thing for house plants and just getting into those small areas. Last but not least, my repurposed water bottle. As you can see, we'll show this thing in action here. It's got four holes, pen holes that I poked in it. And, you know, it's just nice, just a good way to kind of get in between everything and just shoot a nice little stream of water down there. But, you know, good way to get, you know, especially to water in here, you know, you can kind of shoot it in between and not damage the plants, not really hurt anything. So this thing is actually one of my favorite things, and just something that I repurposed. So would highly recommend it. Aquafina seems to be a good brand, but I'm sure the others would work just as well. All right, so now that we've gone over the different watering cans that I'm using in my garden, or in the indoor garden here, I wanted to go over some of the fertilizers that I'm using. So I've got a few really choice fertilizers that I really like to use, especially with seed starting. Number one, Mammoth P. I got turned on to this product as soon as I started as a product manager at A.M. Leonard. And there was a scientific article that was published about it. And this was actually engineered by doctors of biochemical sciences who formulated this at Colorado State. So it's a natural bacterial product, very small application rates, 1 milliliter per gallon. And I think they actually recommend 0.6 milliliters per gallon in a lot of uses, a lot of cases. But basically, this is going to improve your blooms, improve your yield by about 16%. So it's typically aimed at the cannabis grower. So if you're growing a high value crop like that, you know, you can see 16% increases a huge yield potential. And, you know, even if you filter that down to tomatoes, you know, I've seen some amazing gains with this, that product in the Garden of Gains. So next things that I've been using heavily, it's a product from CX Horticulture called Regen-a-Root. This is a 001. So just a little bit of potassium, and basically that's going to help with overall plant health, helps with producing those healthy roots, and really just giving a good environment for the roots to flourish in. Very similar, and works in great conjunction with the Mammoth P. Beyond that, so there's some other CX Horticulture products that I've been using, but there's also some products that I've been testing out. And we're not currently selling them yet, but I'm still going to, you know, promote a good product. So this is a fertilizer tablet called Growing Bubble. You plop one of these tablets into a gallon of water. So that's the only downside is that I've had to cut some of these tablets in half, which I think it'd be fine if I loaded these up, you know, but don't want to over fertilize if you have young seedlings. So that's the one thing that I will recommend is a lot of people are scared to fertilize. Don't be. This should help take the guesswork out of it. And another thing that helps take the guesswork out of it with some of these liquids is actually getting a dropper. So you can see mine's pretty cloudy, a lot of precipitation going on in there. So probably need to get a new one. But But either way, this is the only way that you're going to be able to measure out milliliters to put into a liter or a gallon. And that's what Mammoth P uses. That's what the Regen-a-Root uses, and that's what the rest of these CX horticulture products use. But the growing bubble, that is a 25-10, so 20% nitrogen, 5% phosphorus, 10% potassium, plus I think, no, yeah, that's it. So those have the macronutrients. This one is called NutriBubble, and essentially this is no N, no P, but it does have some potassium. So 13% potassium, 1.2% boron, 0.12% copper, 0.15% iron, 1.2% manganese, 0.03% molybdenum, and 3% zinc. So really complete micronutrient package. You definitely want to get this so that you have a full, complete nutrition profile that you're giving to your plants. So that's why I like those things. Just simple tablets, drop them, let them fizz, then you water your plants, and that's it. So moving on with the liquids, another one that I really like here, this is the CX Horticulture Mighty Growth Enhancer. This is an 1100. So primarily nitrogen. It's a 9% nitrate nitrogen and 2% ammoniacal nitrogen. So that's good that there's a mixture, because that's going to give you a mix of quick uptake and then also extended release that's going to need to be broken down in the soil by some beneficial bacteria or fungus. Last one on the docket here today is one called Mighty Bloom Enhancer. This is a 0-15-18. And this is a flowering additive. So as I've said before, with some of these CX horticulture products, this is a hydroponic fertilizer specific to cannabis production for the most part, but you can use it for anything. So this is a product that I brought on at AM Leonard. I like it from everything I've tested, and this seems to be doing really well. So again, I forgot to kind of go into the application rates on this, but Mighty Growth Enhancer is a 1 milliliter per liter. So, just one of these per little, per blue watering can. So 1 milliliter per one of these things. Same thing with the Mighty Bloom Enhancer, except for when you're in flowering stages. So at that point, you'll start going with 5 to 7 milliliters per liter, and really pumping the phosphorus and the potassium into the plant, and just giving it enough nutrition so that it can feed and really pull all those nutrients through it and give a nice, full, healthy plant. Especially during flower production, fruit production, you're going to need some really high numbers on P and K. So really, that's about it. Those are the big things, that really the only things that I'm using to fertilize. Other than I do have one other fertilizer that's a natural. It's not considered organic, I don't believe, but it is a really top fertilizer. So let me go grab that, and then I think that'll complete our journey today with the fertilizers. All right, so I actually had two more fertilizers. This is the natural one that I was talking about. This is called Seedlinger's Plant Fertilixer. So this is a really, I love it just because it's like an elixir, and it's in a mouthwash bottle and just a really cool label. So kind of trippy. It says on here, the super fantastical, ever so magical, powerful, potent plant food, universal plant fertilizer. So let's read the label here. Any plant, any weather, any condition. If the name Seedlingers seems different, it should be. We're a different kind of company, and if our plant fertilizer packaging looks fun, then we're doing something right. Because at Seedlingers, we want you to discover how much fun gardening can be. But don't worry, it takes a lot of science and know-how to make something this advanced look so simple. We've designed these products to make them perform well enough to impress advanced gardeners and easy enough to use so that beginners can't fail. Be careful though, side effects of using this product may include vigorous plants, impressed friends and family, increased fruit production, jealous neighbors, and an overwhelming sense of accomplishment. So, so that's why I love this product right there. It's got a guaranteed analysis of 3 0.6-0.6. So a lot of nitrogen, looks like 2.5% nitrate nitrogen, so quick uptake, 0.5% ammoniacal nitrogen, slow release, help balance out the pH, a little bit of phosphate, a little bit of potassium, and it's got 3% calcium. So that's something super important for tomatoes. And another really great thing about this product is that it actually is kind of designed to feed the microbes in the soil. So the base of this fertilizer is a molasses. So basically microbes like mycorrhizae, ching, it's a beneficial fungus that forms a symbiotic relationship with plants' roots. A lot of bacteria, a lot of fungus do that, but they need something to live off of. So molasses, sugar, carbohydrates, those are the things that's going to feed the beneficial microbes in the soil. So that's where Fertilixer is a really great product, and that's why we use it. So not going to burn up your plants. Great to use in the HydroFloat trays here. So I don't know what else to say. Highly recommend. Last thing that I haven't used yet, but this is called Clone Start. This is a product that you do not dilute, and you typically are going to use this for clones, cannabis cuttings, and that sort of thing. But I'm kind of thinking about just pumping it straight into these tomatoes if they weren't already huge, and we still had like 3 weeks until the last frost. But Clone Start, let's look at what this product is here. Let's see. So this is a calcium nitrate and magnesium sulfate. So really good product. Essentially, it sounds like it's a, this is going to be great for tomatoes too. So anything that's good for cannabis is probably good for tomatoes just because they're heavy feeders. I mean, they grow very similar. Like everyone keeps asking me if I'm growing pot, but clearly it's not. So we got a lot of peppers, a lot of tomatoes, a lot of stuff growing, and we're just going to keep feeding it with this fertilizer that we've got. So if you have any questions about the fertilizers, about how I'm doing, how I'm watering, or anything like that, what I'm growing, let me know, or anything I can do to help you, let me know. I'll be happy to make a video. But thanks for watching in. As always, I appreciate it.